Hey guys, so just want to recap today's trading. So today on the prop accounts, I had two trade setups, but unfortunately execution mistakes caused me problems today. So I had a short trade I tried to take here, and I submitted the trade. Price had just tagged the entry and gone through the entry, so it would have been filled, but then it was trading a tick below or even right at it. And so I wasn't able to get filled. I was just looking for a pop down. It did almost instantly. Within 30 seconds, pop down to these lows, which is where I would have taken a profit at. So I marked this one in the results and removed it from the equity curve. So just notating that I made a mistake there because I wasn't fast enough. And then I had a trade waiting to get filled up here, but a tweet came out here and I just did not close it in time. So somewhere in this area when the tweet came out, I wasn't looking at my screen and price came up and got me out. If I was aware of that tweet, I would have closed that position and just not taken that trade. But I am not going to remove that one from the results because it was an actual trade that got filled. All right, then when it comes to my analysis I provided this morning, I said the only thing I was watching was for the yen to produce some strength, and if it does, I would be interested in buying. Well, it did that right around 8 a.m. Actually, it was right at just before 8:30. So I saw this right here paired with a break of the downward trend and then the location of the yen. As soon as I saw this, I had this zone here and I immediately submitted the trade for this inner zone here. However, when I placed it, I saw that the size of the trade was not realistic for how small it is and for an account size. Just to show you, if I were to go ahead and place this trade, it wants to place 128 lot. And while that would have been a fantastic trade, nearly getting stopped out, but did not get stopped out, I know that if I'm trading this live, I can't realistically expect to get this sort of size when I'm trading on a prop account. So trading 128 lot, splitting that up and getting it filled, that's not the problem here. The problem is if I'm trading this on smaller sized accounts, the lot size would be too large. So what I did instead, I canceled the order and I adjusted my risk to go for a little bit larger of a risk so I could keep my size down. I know increments. So I basically, long story short, I adjusted my size to something that could definitely get filled on a prop account. It doesn't have any scaling issues or any margin issues with that. So upon adjusting that size, I resubmitted the trade and thought I was going to miss it because it just blipped down into here and it looked like it was going to go away, but then came back, filled me on the trade. And that's where I set my target initially up here. And then I had my break even just at these lows here. So price came up, triggered my break even. However, in the moment, I got concerned because we were coming up into this resistance area, not only on the yen, but the S&P 500 was also trading into a resistance area. So because of how volatile these market conditions have been lately, I elected to just go ahead and take profit at that point in time. Later, it did end up going about 20 minutes later. It went to target. So I lost out just under $3,000 on that trade. But I cannot say that was a mistake. It was very well reasoned. I don't feel like I was emotional about it. But it is something that I'm going to add to my notes and come back and review in a few months to see if those sort of decisions, although they're going to be pretty rare, how they impact the overall results. Because what I'd like to find is that decisions like that over the long run hurt me, and then I can just stop making them. And then another thing I want to remind myself of is that I have my target set here. I expected that price would make it up to, let me show this on the 4 hours so it's more clear. I expected that price would bounce up to this area. So I knew I wanted to be out in front of this 65, 31, 65 area. And so definitely once it came up to here, no longer interested in the buy side of things. And that makes sense why we've sold back off to the same place that we got in. So here are the results so far. Overall, we've had 13 trading days so far, 26 trades, 38% win rate, and that's many of the trades that I'm getting break even on, I'm counting those as losses. And then all these values assume starting account, $40,000, risking as close to 10% per trade as possible. Sometimes it's closer to $3,000 instead of $4,000, but that is the goal. But it just depends on the sizing on the individual trade. So we will keep pushing this forward in simulation. Once we get these accounts up to, we're a little more than halfway right now. We need to get them up to about 3,000, and then we'll move forward into pushing this to see if it can pass some evaluations. So I hope you guys have a great weekend and happy holiday.